Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Matt and Mike and Steven's X-Files CCG. Another tournament edition coming at you today. We got a good one, man. We got a good one. But we're starting to gear down now, right? We're gearing down to the regular, preseason games, I guess you call them, right? But at the same time, we're starting to think ahead. We're starting to think about those playoff games that are coming up pretty soon. So, Steven, with all these things considered, man, what are we looking at today? What kind of matchup we have, and what are we expecting to see here in the future? What is going to be some outcomes that are coming through?
Well, that's a great question, Mike. So we have not one, but two matchups happening today. The first one, which is going to be starting in just a few minutes, and we're going to have one at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time over at Alien Investigations. These two matchups that are happening today are pretty important. Although we've got 8 games to go, these are the two that I'm most keeping my eye on. Why? Because as we are winding down to the end of the pre-playoff season, we're going to start to see where people's standings lie. We have a couple players today who are completing their third and final pre-playoff matchup today. And now we're going to start seeing where the standings lie. And there are a couple of players at this point who have not lost a game. Of the 3 games, they're perfect record at this point, and that is going to determine how the first and second rounds of the finals are going to shake up. Because at this point, we have Jonathan Hagee, who is currently leading with a perfect 3-0. So he is already guaranteed to be he should be bypassing the first round of the playoffs and beginning in the second round. We have 2 players today who are on par, provided the outcomes of this game and the one tonight, provided the outcomes, we may have 2 or possibly 3 players with the prospect of looking at bypassing that first round.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of an interesting way we're gonna have to do it, because there's really only going to be 2 players that will receive buys, but there could be more than 2 players that are 3-0. So with that in mind, we just decided, for the sake of not having to, make decisions on our own, that if that happens, the 2 buys will be decided by random number drawing again, and the matchups going into the playoffs. There might be some that are clear cut, like obviously the one person that's 3-0 is going to play the person that's 0-3. That's super simple. But who determines who that is? We're just going to ball drawings to start that out, because once those playoff matches are set up, everything past that's determined, depending upon if you want to lose. So we'll be set up for that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how these games play out, man. There's a lot on the line here, and we're getting down to the wire. So.
Absolutely. And check out the calendar, which is posted in both the Facebook group as well as Discord. We've got most of the matches scheduled between now and this coming Sunday, April 21st. Most of the matchups are in the books. They're scheduled. And so by Sunday, we will have a pretty clear picture of what the standings are going to look like at that point.
Indeed. Well, let's bring in our players now, right? All right.
Yes,
we got, let's bring them in here. I think I have to bring in.
And first off, I want to introduce Matt Sauerwein, who's going to be playing his first of 3 matchups for this pre-playoff season. Matt, you are hailing all the way from Colorado. Welcome aboard.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful to be here.
And this is exciting, Matt. So this is your team's debut as well as your deck's debut as well. So how do you feel about, because you've probably seen some of the matchups, I'm assuming, but what's your thought processes at this point?
Just go at it. Just go at it. I don't know. I have no hopes, no dreams. Just let's see what we can do. My problem is I've played a handful of games, but I don't know if I played the right rules. So,
well, that's why Mike and I are here, because we'll be watching, and we'll be keeping an eye on things. And if anything happens, we'll jump in and we can clear it up. And of course, if you have any questions, again, that's what we're here for. But Matt, I should tell you that your opponent for this matchup is currently working with a 2-0 record. So he has won the first 2 of his 3 matchups, and so he's looking pretty good. Stafford joining us all the way from England. Nice. He is on par to potentially be one of the 2 players that's going to get a bypass for round 1 of the playoffs. Potentially, it really does boil down to this matchup. How are we doing over there, Stafford?
Well, now that you've just piled the pressure on, feeling absolutely great. Yeah, thanks for that. I was enjoying myself, but now that I know that there's a lot of pressure on it, you know.
I see the split.
No, it's great to be back. I've really enjoyed these 3 games.
But they've been a lot of fun. And I do want to mention that you had one of the more memorable games of the 21 games thus far. Granted, there's still a few more to go. But thus far, what we've seen, that last game with John Wood, right? That was just amazing by all, like, adversaries galore. I mean, I felt bad for him. He was just getting trampled by adversaries.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean, I think my first game I got quite lucky and I only showed about 15 cards out of my deck. The second game, I think pretty much every card that I have got in my deck was shown. So there's no secrets anymore for anyone who has watched them. And yeah, we'll see how this one plays out.
Excellent. And Mike, unless you have anything else, I think we should get this game going because, as I mentioned earlier, I got to get back to work in about half an hour. I want to see some X-Files CCG.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good luck, guys. You know, we just sort of bow out at this point, and let you determine who goes first. And I wish you both luck and have a good, clean fight.
A big clean. Keep it all above the belt and all that. Good game, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thanks very much. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Good. You can go first.
Oh, well, I was going to just roll a dice and keep it random rather than you being the honourable one.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Do you want to go with odds or evens on the dice?
I'll go odd.
Okay. That is a 2. So I guess the choice is mine anyway.
Yep.
I will go first in that case. Okay. I'll take you up on your offer now that the gods have decided it's me. What agents have you got there? Just so I can mark.
So I have got Skinner, Mulder, Karen Kossoff, and Lucy Kasdan.
Nice. That's cool. I haven't seen Kasdan or Kossev in a while, so I like that. Yeah, I tend to, as soon as I know what my opponent's got, I tend to hide all the other ones so I'm not getting confused of stats. For myself, hopefully you can see that on the table. I've got Krychek, Blevins, Colton, and Skinner. So we both have Skinner. I was going to say to you, we already had a bit of a chat before this game, but and you said you hadn't played too many. If there were any questions or anything you're unsure of, just pause the game and ask away. Or if you need more time to think, or if you're not sure about anything, you know, it's absolutely fine. Don't worry about time or pressure or anything.
Cool.
You know, as long as you enjoy yourself, that's the main thing. All right.
Kasdan's in there. All right, let's go.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, let's draw our 7 cards. Good luck.
And we start with 5 res in each pool, correct?
Correct. Yep. Are you using dice or something? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got this Lotus app on my mobile, which is quite useful. Forgotten how many I've drawn there. That's 5, 6, 7. Have you got tokens or things on your agents? I can never remember what.
Yeah, I've got Mulder's got the
he's got 3
to play the play a site with no cost.
Yeah.
And
what do the Kossev and Kasdan bring to the party?
Kasdan, if one of my agents is abducted, immediately draw 2 cards.
Nice.
And then Kossev, place 1 on this card. You may use this for a keyword, behavioral, or observation cards.
Cool. Did you want to put a token on Kossev? Yeah.
Cool.
Nice one. I've got a similar token on Colton, and I always forget to put it back at the start of every briefing phase. So, you know, I'm sure we'll be mentioning that a few times.
Okay.
Right, I've drawn my 7, and I shall go ahead and draw my free card, and we'll get beginning, shall we?
Yep.
Sweet.
And Matt, watch your cards over your camera there. Yeah, yep. Just FYI.
Okay, so I really like how Stephen and Mike, when they're having games on X-Files, they sort of talk through what they're doing so that anyone who's viewing can follow along, not to mention each other as opponents. So I probably will do that, but obviously, we'll see how we go. So in the briefing phase, I'll generate some res, and my team of agents, this is where they're most the strongest while they're all sitting in the bureau, because I generate 3 from Skinner, which you well know, having Skinner yourself. 2 from Colton, that's 5. 2 from Blevins, while Blevins is in the bureau, he gets an extra 1. So that goes up to 7, and 2 from Krychak to make it up to 9.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, pretty decent. And what I'll do is I'll put Krychak's into my conspiracy pool, which is his game effect. So I will put 2 into Krychak to put that up to 7, and I'll put the other 7 into my RP pool to 12. And then I will buy some cards. Obviously, shout if anything doesn't sound right on your side. I will buy 2 cards. So reduce that by 2. Buy 2 cards, and then I'll pass over to yourself, and you may do some selling of cards, etc.
I'm going to sell Arthur Lee Boggs for 3.
Okie doke.
So that puts my conspiracy to 8, if I can find it. And I'll buy 2. So I'm down to 6.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so I will go into healing, which there is none because it's the start of the game.
Yep.
And requisitioning, I'm not going to requisition any equipment on this turn. So I will go straight to deployment, and I will put everybody into the field, which I'll indicate just by moving my agents forward like that. And then I will play a couple of sites. I'll play first of all the Eurisco building, which is a computer 5+ or bureaucracy 5+. That is a method or result question. If I ask if the result is abduction, then the skill check is reduced to 4+.
Okay.
So place that. That is a bureaucracy site. Costs 1, and I can use Colton's token to pay for a bureaucracy keyword.
Gotcha.
So I will take Colton's token away and not reduce my RP pool. And then the second site I'm going to play is Cumberland Prison, which is a subterfuge 4+ site with an affiliation question. And I'm not entirely sure exactly when I declare it, but I'm not going to use the 4+ option on this site. I'm going to keep the prerequisite at 5+.
Okay.
So I can ask any of those questions. So I'll pass over to yourself if you want to. Oh, I've got to pay for that one though. I've got to pay 2 for that one. So I'll reduce that by 2. And then you can choose whether or not you want to play any bluffs or pretend bluffs under those sites.
Let me see something quick. Just need to
take your time. Don't worry.
review pages here. I will. The first site you put down, I'm going to put.
Eurisco building.
Can you see that? I'm putting a bluff upside down.
Yeah. No problem. I'll put a little dice number 1 on that. Any on the other one?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Skinner and Colton to the one that you put a bluff on, the Eurisco building.
So I flip this?
No, not yet. Hang on. And I will send Blevins and Krychek to the other one. And then I decide which order I'm doing it before you flip bluffs. So I'm actually going to go to the one where you haven't put a bluff first. So there's no bluffs to reveal there. It's subterfuge 4+ is what I'm aiming for. Krychek has got 4 and Blevins has got 1. So my total is 5. And it would pass over to yourself if you've got anything to stop me.
I do not.
Okay, lovely. Much appreciated. So I will go ahead and ask you an affiliation question to kick off. And I'll put that in the discard. So I will ask you, is your affiliation evolutionary?
No.
Okay. I'm going to use the computer rather than paper. Okay, nice one. Thank you. Right, so that was a successful site. So now I am going to investigate the other one. So we can reveal the bluff on that one.
This is Psychotic Attack. Can I play that? An adversary?
Psychotic Attack is an adversary. You'd need to play a bluff.
Oh, so that doesn't count. So that's just a fake.
It doesn't count as a bluff. What's the key activator on that?
Method site. Activators are conspiracy method site.
Okay, so technically you wouldn't have been able to play that as an upside down bluff, but it has got. But my site does have method as a keyword, so you could have played it as an adversary in the investigation phase. So I'm more than happy for you to go ahead and do that then, and pretend you did it later if you want, as it's a learning thing.
It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, at the moment, my bureaucracy is 4 from Skinner and 1 from Colton, which puts me at 5, which is enough to meet the 5. Did you want to play anything to stop me on that one?
I don't have anything, unfortunately.
Sure. I'm just trying to look to see if Psychotic Attack would have been any good without any extra. I don't remember the numbers on Psychotic Attack.
As far as what numbers?
The long range and the close range.
3, 2, and a health of 5.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if you did play it as a normal card, you could have, you probably could have done something against me. But obviously,
that's fine.
Are we happy to move on?
I'm learning. I that's my biggest problem. I guess. Obviously, I can only play bluffs upside down.
Yes.
Unless you're just throwing the card away like that ended up being.
You can. I'll tell you what, I know that you're in a learning experience, and I did get a question from my other site. So let's go for this as though I'll give you another chance if you want to. Do you want to play that
this would
adversary?
Come into play now?
Yeah.
So this would
if
be
you like,
4.
because I mean, if it costs 4, yeah, you'll have to pay 4 for it.
So now I'm down to 2.
Yeah. I'm actually just looking to see if I can do much about this combat. So yeah. So that would mean that we, because it had got the right activator in order for it to be a successful adversary to play.
Okay.
Because it's a method one. So this would start combat, and we would go into a long range combat round. So before we deal long range combat, I'm going to play a card a combat card. I'm going to play Dodge.
Yep.
Which costs 3. So I'll pay 3 RP for it. 1, 2, 3. And I'll read out what Dodge does. Play this card on any combatant in a long-range combat round to reduce the damage from any one source by 4 points.
Ooh, okay.
The combatant using this card does not deal damage in this long-range combat round. So I'm going to play that on Colton,
Okay.
which would mean he wouldn't deal any damage to your adversary, but he also wouldn't. But also the damage you do in long-range combat is reduced by 4, which would reduce it to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that would mean that in terms of long-range combat, Skinner does 2 long-range combat to your adversary.
Okay.
Which I think would take him from 5 to 3.
Yep.
Now, obviously, if you've got any combat cards that you want to play as well, then you can do so. That might affect that. I don't know whether you have or not.
I don't.
Fair enough. So then that would mean Dodge is done because I've paid for that and resolved it in long-range combat. And then we'd go into close-range combat, at which point Skinner does 3 and Colton does 2. So I would do 5, which would kill off your adversary. But you would first get to do your close-range combat damage.
And that's 2.
That's 2. And I think from memory, Psychotic Attack can split damage if you want to. Is that right on the card?
Long range may be split.
Oh, only long range. Okay. Yeah. So you can do 2 damage to any of my 2 agents. It won't knock them into the hospital, but it will cause some damage at least.
And
so you can choose.
What's Colton's health?
He's only health 3, so it nearly gets into the hospital. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So I'll put 2 damage tokens on Colton. So yeah, that would end combat as I've managed to kill that adversary.
Yep.
And currently I'm still sitting on 5 bureaucracy. So do you have any other cards to stop me in this investigation?
I do not.
Okay. I mean, I'm kind of glad that I managed to have that dodge actually, because that made all the difference. Because you would have got you an opportunity to do long range combat as well. But like you say, it's you're learning this game as we go. So I wouldn't have felt right if you'd have wasted that adversary that you could have played as a bluff. So, and you have done 2 damage to Colin now, so I think we're looking good. So I will ask you a question on the back of this investigation. So I'm going to ask you, is your X-Files result death?
No.
Not death. Okay. Lovely. Okay, great. So that will end my second investigation. So we go into debriefing, unless you've got any other cards that you want to play before we go there.
I do not.
So I've got 7 cards in my hand, which is the amount I'm allowed to keep. I don't know if you have any.
7 as well.
You have 7 as well. Great. So yeah. So we're okay to go into your first turn if you like, and you can draw your first card.
Draw 1.
Yep.
And then Mulder. So then it would be Rez.
Yes.
Skinner gives me 3 because he's in the bureau.
Mm-hmm.
Mulder has 2, but I have to use those for cards.
Correct.
So I draw 2 now.
Well, yeah. You can draw 2. Don't draw 2 until you've decided how many others you're going to draw. So draw your res first.
I'll just give you a little bit of advice. Like the way I do it, Matt, when I have Mulder on my team, I just add everything to the pool, including Mulder's 2. And then when I go to buy, I automatically am buying 2 because of Mulder. But then at that same time, I'm making that decision to just get, if I want to get more than just the 2 for Mulder. So for me, that's just easier. Just add it all to the pool first. That way you have your full picture of how much you can spend. But then you're automatically deducting 2 when you decide how much to buy.
So 3, 5, 6, 7. So that would put me to 12.
Great.
And then Mulder's 2 puts me to 10. Because I'm only gonna take 2.
Superb. Yeah, that's fine.
If I can find
Keep
it.
the other 10.
Okay. So then it's
So-
your chance.
Yep, lovely. So yeah, I'm actually I'm actually not going to sell anything.
Okay. So then healing, which
hang on, sorry, I might buy a card still, even though I didn't sell anything. I'm going to buy 1 card, so I'll reduce my CP down by 1 and pull a card. And yeah, over to yourself to do healing and
there's nothing
requisitioning.
there. Right. So then there's no healing. I don't have any requisition.
Okay.
So now I can play a site.
What you want to do first is move your agents into the field if you intend for them to investigate.
Gotcha.
I mean, most people would probably be fairly relaxed about that. Like, if you did play a site first, then move them, I think most people would be fine with that. But in terms of the correct order,
so I'm going to move Mulder and Kasdan into the field.
Okay.
Now site.
Yep. Now you can play a site or more.
I'll play Lake Aboji.
Okay.
Keywords: site, mono, motive, alien investigation. Prereq, alien investigation, 4+. You may ask a motive question.
Okay.
So I have to pay for that.
Yep.
So that puts me to 8.
Yeah, you could use one of Mulder's token if you would prefer not to pay for it out of points.
No, I'll pay for it.
Okay. Yeah, so at this point, you haven't indicated, and you shouldn't indicate what agents are going to that site, because at this point, it would be my opportunity to put bluffs face down underneath them before you decide that you're going to them. And that was a motive site, is that right?
Yes.
Are there any other keywords on it? I'm sorry.
Site, mono, motive,
Mono.
and alien investigation.
Okay, fair enough. I will not play any bluffs on it.
Okay. So now it's deployment.
Yep. So you can decide if you want Mulder and Kasdan to go and investigate.
Send in both.
Okay. And because it's the only site in play, we automatically start the investigation for that one. So I think, did you say it was alien investigation? Alien
investigation. Mulder's got 4. Kasdan has 1.
Yeah. So you do make that 4+. Got some good news for you. I have nothing to stop you in that investigation. Right. So you may go ahead and ask a question straight away.
So motive. Knowledge. Is it knowledge?
I suppose I better remind myself what I've got. Motive. It is not knowledge.
Okay. So the site goes away?
Yes. And we can go into debriefing unless there's any other cards that you wanted to play in your investigation phase.
That is it. So So I have 9, so I have to discard 2.
Correct. And I have 8, so I'm going to discard a car troubles.
1, 2. I'm gonna do you need to know? I'm discarding Alistair Crowley High School and
Okay.
Maggie Holvey.
Okay.
So these guys come back.
They stay in the field for the time
They stay
being.
there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and we can go into my turn 2. So I will start my turn by drawing a free card. And I will generate res. So Skinner is no longer in the bureau for me, so he's only worth 1. Colton is worth 2, so that's 3. Blevins is no longer in the bureau, so he's only worth 1, so that takes up to 4. And Krychek is 2, so I've got 6 res to generate. And I am going to I'm going to put Krycheks into the conspiracy pool again.
Okay.
So 2 into the conspiracy pool and 4 into the resource pool. And I'm going to buy 2 cards. 1, 2. And I'm also, I'm very sorry. One of my cards is randomly the wrong way up in my deck. So I'm just going to randomly place that in the middle and give my deck a quick shuffle. Sorry about that.
Okay.
That must have turned the wrong way up during my previous shuffle. There you go. Okay. Right, these were the 2 that I just bought. And I'm going to replace Colton's token in my briefing phase as well. And then I will pass over to you to sell and buy.
Let's see. I'm going to live dangerously and stay.
I like a man who likes to live dangerously. Not quite the quote from the film, but yeah, very good. Very good. I watched that recently. Superb. Okay. So in that case, there is, I mean, technically I have got some damage on my agents, but he's not in the hospital, so he can't heal. I will not requisition any equipment, and I will deploy my agents. I am tempted. I am very tempted. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to. I don't see this very often. I don't know how often more experienced players see this, but I'm going to deploy Colton into the hospital from the field so that he will heal next turn. Okay. And I'm going to keep the other 3 in the field. So Colton is going back. He's taken a few cuts and bruises, and he's running off to the hospital, which sounds like a very Colton thing to do, to be honest. You know, he's not used to actually having to do anything in the field. So, yeah, he's going to go over to the hospital to get a little bit of a healing going on. And then I'm going to play a site. And I will play just the one site. I'll play Church of the Red Museum, which is a Subterfuge 5+ or Medical 5+. You may ask one affiliation or method question, and that is a cost of 1. So I'm going to reduce my RP by 1. And then I will pass over to yourself if you wish to place any bluffs. And these, like last time, it's either real bluffs that you're putting upside down or fake bluffs, which if we reveal them and they're not real bluffs, you would discard.
Discard.
Yep.
I'll play one upside down.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to send my 3 agents to investigate this site. So yeah, let's reveal what that bluff is.
The bluff is sinus cavity implant.
Nice.
Play on one agent to decrease that agent's res by 1.
Okay.
This card
so
is
what's the
removed
cost of
when
that?
it's healed.
What cost is that card?
1.
Oh, so 0 now that it's played face down. Is that right?
Yep. I think
Cool.
I didn't know if it could go to 0, but
yeah, no, it
okay.
can. I like that card. Yeah. Which agent would you like to reduce their res to 0?
Which are your res again?
Yeah, so I've got 1 on Skinner, but obviously his goes up to 3 if he's in the bureau, as you know. So that would be, well, actually, that's an interesting one. I think it would be 0 normally or 2 in the bureau if you did it on him.
Right.
Blevins would go from 1 normally down to 0 or 1 in the bureau, or Krychek would go down from 2 to 1.
Put it on Blevins.
Okay. I will.
So how do we mark? I'll just leave it here then.
You can discard it if you like. Just remember it. You can keep it somewhere where you'll remember it. I've got a number 6 dice on Blevins, which is his only token. So obviously, if you see me trying to generate res in my turn for Blevins, then shout and tell me off. But I'm right in thinking that that can be taken away after 1 turn of healing. Is that right? Or does it need a healing card?
A healing card is placed on the
healing
agent.
card. Okay, so we can't just take a little visit to the hospital to see his mate and get healed then, can he? He has to actually have a healing card. Fair enough. Okay, so that's done. Do you have any other cards to stop my investigation?
So I can play bluffs now.
You can play bluffs now if you want to. You would have to pay full price for them while they were face up.
I will do that. Playing Tony Fiore.
Okay.
Discard 2 cards randomly from your hand immediately, a cost of 2.
Okay.
So that puts
you would
0.
have to pay the 2. And yeah, I've currently got 9 cards in my hand. So I'll just give them a quick shuffle, and then you can tell me which ones you would like me to discard. So I'll just... so it's 2 cards discarded, is it, Tony Fiore?
Yep.
So let me know, which ones do you want me to discard?
We'll do 2 on the left, the top and bottom on your left.
These 2?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll put my other 7 back in a pile, and then I will show you which ones you've managed to get rid of. You have managed to get rid of 2 adversaries.
Ooh, okay.
Not bad. I had a psychotic attack as well, and a squeeze as well.
All right.
So you have made me discard those 2. And we carry on the investigation. Have you got anything else you wish to play against me?
That's it.
Okay, lovely. In that case, I will go ahead and ask a question, if that's all right. Right, so give me a second. I'm just going to see which would be the best question for me to ask, because I've got a choice between affiliation or method here. Let's go. Oh, I know what I'll do. Is your affiliation government?
No.
Okay.
Thank you
Right,
for the
okay.
patience in teaching here, because this is making a little more sense to me than the way that we were playing. The wife
Oh,
and I
that's
were
absolutely
playing.
fine. Honestly, the amount of patience my opponent in my second game showed me, because I was buying so many cards and then I had to spend like 5 minutes discarding cards every debriefing phase. So that was a different kind of patience. So I'm absolutely happy to take our time with this. Don't worry. So I'll move that site into the discard pile because that's successful.
Mhm.
And apart from Blevins having something stuck in his nose, sinus cavity implant. It's great that it's on Blevins, because Blevins is the one on the bluff card, isn't he?
Yes.
So it made sense. But yeah, that'll end my turn 2, and we'll go over to your. You reduced by playing that bluff card. You reduced me to 7 cards, so I don't have to worry about discarding any. I don't know how many you've got.
And I've only got 5.
Right. Yeah. So you can go ahead and start your second turn.
So draw. And then no healing. So 3, 4. And they still get res even though they're in the field, yes?
Yes. Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be 15. So 13 with Molders 2. So
Yeah. Just see if you want to buy more than 2 before you pick those up.
I'll buy 2. So that puts me to 11. So 4 total, sorry. 2 for Molder and then buying 2. So
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
total.
that's right. Yeah, because you'd already reduced the 2 from Molders.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Okay, and then if you're okay with me
Yep.
selling cards.
Yep.
First of all, I think I'll play an event card, which is allowed to be played at any point. I'll play a conspiracy event card, which is Rejuvenating Caves. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
No.
Okay, so what it is I pay 2 CP for it. Place this card next to the X file you have chosen. Place 10 tokens on this card. Beginning on your opponent's next turn, you may take up to 2 tokens from this card and place them in your conspiracy pool. The tokens become conspiracy tokens. When all counters have been removed, discard this card. So it's like a little way of farming and a little bit of extra CP.
Nice. Okay.
So unless you want to negate that with any cards that you've got,
I don't have anything to negate it.
Okay, so I'll pay 2 CP to put me down to 6, and I'll put that card in play with a 10 number of dice. And that one, I can't begin taking tokens from it until the start of your next turn. So it starts with 10. And then I will carry on with selling cards. I'm going to sell 2 lots of Fast Strike, which are both combat cards.
Okay.
Managed to draw 2 of the same card, but I'm going to sell them both. They're both worth 4, so I'm going to generate 8 CP. So that takes it from 6 to 14. And I think I'm going to buy some cards. I'm going to buy 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it will go over to you to do healing and things.
So no healing, no requisition. Okay. So then healing, requisition, deployment. So I'm going to pull Kasdan back to the bureau.
Okay.
And put Kosef into the field.
Nice. Tag team.
And then so now it's time to play a site. So I'm going to play Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is site, mono, affiliation, occult investigation. Occult investigation 4+. You may ask an affiliation question. And I'll pay for that with Molder. So that puts him to 2. If I can find it. There it is. And that's what I'm doing.
Cool. Okay, so we've got one site in play. You've paid for it with Molder's token. Yeah. I will not play any bluffs on it. So you can decide whether or not your 2 agents will go and investigate or not.
They will investigate. So 4+, Molder's got a 3. Kosef has a 2 on occult investigation. So that's a occult investigation of 4+. So there'd be 5 total.
That's cool. My little spreadsheet, which is probably wrong, said that Kosef had 1, but you can see the card there, so I'm sure you're right.
Yep. Occult 2.
Lovely. I'm going to change that right now because all I've got is an Excel spreadsheet and I'm bound to be wrong. But that's good to know. Great. Okay, right. So I will try to stop you. How am I going to do that is the question. So let's have a little look. I am going to play an adversary.
Okay.
So I'm going to play Slithers in the Night, which is an activator conspiracy affiliation, because I think your site is an affiliation site.
Yes.
Great. So I'm going to play that for 4 CP, taking my CP down to 5. And unless you can negate that, we would go into combat.
And Slithers in the Night, what are the keywords?
The keywords are adversary, occult, creature, and pawn.
So we're going into combat.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, happy to start the combat.
Okay.
Are you sure you're ready to do that? You don't want to double check or anything that you can't stop combat or anything? I'm just giving you a chance to, I don't want you to feel rushed. So.
And what's long range and short range on that one?
So Slithers in the Night, the giant python, is long range NA, so I won't do any damage to you, but you'll do damage to me. My health is 6, so I believe, we can, depending on whether we go into it or not, but talking it out, I think you'll do 3 to me when I won't do any to you in long range. And then if we were to go to 1 round of close range combat, Slithers in the Night would do 6 to you, and you would do 3 to knock me out. So I think I would be able to knock out Mulder.
You would be able to. Okay. I'll play Run for It for 2. Play this card on any agent to immediately end combat for that agent. Finish the combat without the agent. The agent takes no damage from the combat and may still contribute his skills to other skill checks. So I'll play that on Mulder.
For 2.
Yep.
Mulder runs for it and leave Kosev behind.
Yep. Sorry, sucker.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so Mulder takes a run for it, I guess, in the long range combat straight away. So Kosev does 1 to Slithers in the Night, reducing it down to 5. Slithers in the Night does 0 to Kosev in the long range combat. But then, unfortunately for
she's dead.
The counselor, the snake gets to her. She does 1 to it on the way in, and then it does 6 to take her into the hospital with 3 damage. Because I think her health is 3, isn't it?
Yes.
But fortunately for Mulder, he escapes.
Yes. He's.
I mean, and Slithers in the Night goes away at that point. It doesn't matter that he's still got 4 health. Because he can't run after Mulder, who legged it, which is nice. So I think that takes your investigation. Mulder on 3 is occult investigation. Is that right?
He can only do 3.
And then it's just whether you've got anything to boost that.
Can you play witnesses now?
You can, if you can afford to play them.
I've got it. Kristen Kellar, add 1 to your. Oh, this isn't it. Well, you know what I got there, but that won't help. That won't help. I thought it was to add. I'll still play her though. Whatever. Add 1 to your pool every time occult investigation or criminal investigation card is played.
So I see. Yeah. It's still a useful card for the long run, but yeah, unfortunately, it won't help.
It doesn't help here. I thought it boosted, but it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that fails.
Okay. Yeah, but Christian Killer stays in effect.
Yes.
So you can put that up next to,
I'm just saying the investigation.
The site fails. Yeah, fair enough. Bad luck.
So then it's debriefing.
Yeah.
I have 7 cards.
Great. I have 8, so I do need to get rid of 1. I'm going to get rid of another Car Troubles, my second Car Troubles that I've discarded.
Okay.
That will leave me on 7 cards. Okay. So then, if you're on 7 cards as well, we'll go over to my next turn.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll draw a free card. Then I will generate res, and this is where I've got to pay attention because my res has been altered somewhat. I have 1 from Skinner in the field. I have 0 from Blevins, thanks to your sinus cavity implant. And I have 2 from Krychek, which takes me to a mighty 3, which I can't add to because Colton is in the hospital, where I willingly put him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Blevins was going to be knocked back by the implant as well. Otherwise, I might have left Colton out. But yes, I'm considering in my last game, one of the topics being discussed was how I generate lots of res from my agents.
Yeah.
This turn, I'm generating a mighty 3. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to put all 3 into my res pool. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy 2 cards. 1 card. Yeah, 1 card. And then I'll pass over to yourself to sell and buy.
I'm gonna sell 3 cards.
Okay.
Browning Montana for 2, another Browning Montana for 2, and Dr. Sheila Braun for 2. So 6 total.
Okay. What are you up to now?
6.
Of course.
I had to get something.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Oh, yeah, I didn't realize you were down to 0, actually. Are you buying any cards with those 6?
I am not buying any cards.
Okay, lovely. In that case, we will go into healing, and I will be very glad to heal 1 on Colton. Now, he's still taken 1 damage, so I believe the even though I willingly placed him in the hospital, the stubborn hospital won't discharge him because he's only on 2 out of 3. So I think he's actually got to stay in there for another turn. And had I remembered that, I might have not actually willingly put him in there because actually I thought I could just heal 1 of those and then come out next turn. But that was my mistake because he's only on 2 of 3 and his maximum is 3. He has to stay there another turn, but never mind. So that's my healing. I haven't yet done any healing cards on Blevins, so he's still suffering from the implant. And I will not requisition any equipment. And I will now move my agents about. I will keep all 3 of them in the field. Yes, they're all going to stay in the field. And I will play a site. I'll play Chaco House, which is a subterfuge 5-up or behavioral 5-up. You may ask 1 affiliation or motive question. And if I ask if the motive is security, then the prerequisite is down to 4. So I'm just going to have a little look to see if that is a beneficial question to ask. Oh, no, it is not. So I will keep the prerequisite at 5-up in that case. So that is a 1 cost site. So I will pay 1 for that and go down to 7. And then you can go ahead and play any bluff cards if you wish to.
So I can play an event.
Yes, you can play an event card at any time. It has to be a conspiracy event card, but yeah.
Captive Hybrid.
Ooh, you're playing it like that, are you?
Yep.
No, that's really good. I love that card.
You could get so much res.
Yeah, that's really cool. This is going to really new to me. I love it.
Place this card in your opponent's field. It says fields. Your opponent must subtract 2 from the CP generates each turn while this card is in play. Your opponent may pay 7 to force you to discard this card.
Yeah. Sorry, did it say CP or RP that it reduces?
Sorry, RP, the RP, shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that knocks my CP completely down to 0 again.
Nice. It's a good card though. I like it. I mean, I only generated 3 res that turn, so that would have taken it down to 1. Yeah, really cool. But unfortunately, you couldn't have done that earlier because you didn't have the CP to pay for it at that point, did you? Yeah, really cool. Nice. I've got nothing to negate that. I wish I had because my RP is looking a little bit shot now. Yeah, great. So it doesn't actually affect this stage of things. So we're still technically on the point where you could, if you had things to pay for, you could play bluffs face down. But obviously, we're aware that you have 0 CP, so I imagine you're not going to play any bluffs.
Correct.
Okay, and I'll send all 3 of my agents to investigate it. It's a subterfuge 5-up, technically, I'm actually at subterfuge 8 for this one, so they're pretty good at subterfuge, these three. Similarly, I imagine that because you haven't got any CP, you're probably not going to have any plays to stop me from succeeding in the investigation. Is that right?
That is correct.
Nice one. Okay. So I'll go ahead and have a little look at affiliation and motive to see which one would be beneficial to me. Well, I'll tell you what. No, I've done a couple of affiliations, I think. So let's go. Is it motive? Yeah. That's 3.
That's the other thing. I'm not that old, but the print on these cards is so small.
You can definitely tell the people left playing the game or currently playing the game better on, because a lot of people are saying that, and I have to say I'm squinting, especially in my reduced light. I'll ask you: is your X-Files motive ideology?
No.
4 questions, all incorrect. Okay, great. Right. Okay, thank you. I will put that into my discard pile. That is done. And then we go into debriefing. I have 8 cards, so I do need to discard one. I don't know how many you've got.
I've got 3.
Oh, I'm really bad at tracking how many cards my opponent's got. Like, we get to debriefing, and I always say how many cards you've got, even if they started with not many.
Playing this way, you kind of have to.
Yeah, true. You can't just look over the table and have a quick glance, can you? Let's see. What do I want to? As much as it pains me, no, actually, no, I don't need to do that. I'm going to discard my second copy of Slithers in the Night, because we had the snake in the last turn, and I think the snake has had enough time in the limelight, so I'll discard it. Kosev's still having nightmares. Yeah, and that's my debriefing phase. So we'll go into your third turn, and you can draw a card.
Okay, draw a card. Okay, then she's out. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would put me to 12.
Yep.
12. So I get 2 from Molder. I'll buy 1. So that puts me to 11, or 3 total. So, but it puts me to 11. Because 2 from Molder.
Did you subtract the 2 from the 12 as well, or was that already accounted for?
Or 2 from Molder.
Yeah.
So I'm buying 3 total. So 2 from Molder, 1 from CP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy for me to sell and buy?
Yep.
Okay. Well, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the amount of tokens on my Rejuvenating Caves effect from 10 down to 8, because that will give me 2 CP.
Mm-hmm.
So that increases it to 7. That's just an ongoing effect until the tokens have run out. And I'm going to sell 1 Message from the Stars, which is 5.
Wow. All right.
We don't really need to worry too much about what it does because I'm selling it. And a Hack into Government Files for another 5.
G's 10. Okay.
So that will increase my CP to 17. I will buy I've got 5. I will buy 4 cards.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
So healing.
Yep.
So she got hit for 3, so she loses or takes one away, but she's still in there because she's only 3, so she only takes 1 away, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And then I don't have any requisition. Deployment. I'm going to bring Agent Lucy out again into the field.
Leaving Skinner behind. He's happy in the bureau.
Yep. He stays. And so I can play a site.
You can.
I'm going to play Dead Horse, Alaska. It is site, multi-affiliation, result, alien investigation, evidence collection. Alien investigation 5+, evidence collection 5+, or evidence collection. You may ask one affiliation question or a result question. If you ask result is manipulation or evidence, the skill check prerequisite is 4+.
Okay, so generally, when there's an option to reduce the prerequisite down to 4+, you have to say that you're going to use that prior to investigating or not.
Oh.
So have a little look to see if that question is useful to you and whether you want to reduce it to 4+ or not. And take your time. I mean, I had that option in my last turn, and when I looked at the question, it would only like chalk off 2 answers. So I was like, no, that's no use. So I chose not to do it. But sometimes you might want to do it to make it so you only need 4 up anyway.
Since I've only asked one question, I'll take it.
Okay, cool. I mean, yeah. So we'll take note of that. If you're successful, you can ask that question. So that's played. Did you pay for that with a Mulder token or,
I will.
or normal?
Yep. So he's down to 1.
Great. Okay, and then it would pass over to me to play bluffs if I want to. I will put 1 bluff face down underneath it. And then you can choose whether or not you want to go ahead and investigate.
And you're playing 1 down?
1 bluff, yeah.
Thank you, Stephen, for mentioning this. I'm going to play a Langley.
Cool.
So that's 2.
So you're absolutely fine to play a Langley. That's cool. One thing you might want to do, more in the future than this time in particular, what you might want to do is wait until they're revealed before you play the Langley. Because if there were more than 1, you can play a Langley to choose which one you get rid of after the opponent's paid for them.
Gotcha.
Whereas if you're doing it now, which you are allowed to do, it's completely within the rules, you would be getting rid of the one that I haven't paid for. So I wouldn't really have to use any of my CP to get rid of it, whereas you're having to pay to get rid of it with a Langley. So in this case, because we're all learning and everything, do you want to just hold off on the Langley for just 5 seconds until I've revealed it and potentially paid for it?
Yep.
And then you can play your Langley. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So assuming you're going ahead and investigating, I'll reveal my bluff.
That is correct, yes.
Cool. So my bluff is Intruder Countermeasures Program. And the effect of that is play to add 2 CP to your pool immediately. Normally it would cost me 1, but face down it would cost 0. So actually in this situation, I don't have to pay for it, but I'm choosing to use it. And now you would reveal your Langley if you wanted to get rid of that.
Yep.
But you don't have to get rid of it, even though you've shown me you've got a Langley.
Nope, let's do it. I already played it.
Okay, great. So yeah, that I will not gain the benefit of that bluff card. And you've
So that
reduced
took me
your
from 11 to 9.
Perfect. Yeah, Langley's really useful because especially when you have multiple bluffs against you, you can choose which one to get rid of.
Cool. So
Okay,
then,
so
anything else to stop this?
I will try. So remind me, this was a multi-site.
So this is Alien Investigation 5+, or Evidence Collection 5+. You may ask an affiliation question or result. So I'm asking a result because it's going to drop it to 4+, but it has to be manipulation or evidence.
Cool. Did you say whether you're using evidence collection or the other one?
Alien Investigation.
You're going with alien. So your total is 5 at the moment, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, brilliant. So I will. What's Kasdan's health? Is it? I've got it on screen actually. I don't need to ask.
Kasdan is a 4.
Yeah, it is 4, isn't it? Okay. What I'll do is I will play the Sandman.
Okay.
Which is an activator result site, which I think this is okay for.
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to pay 4 CP for it, so 13 down to 9. And unless you want to negate it, this would go into combat. I can tell you more details about the combat if you've got a choice. Yeah, so he's got 5 health in total. He's got a special long-range combat ability and a special close-range combat ability. In terms of his keywords, he's evolutionary and creature. And his special abilities are that he has long-range combat and close-range combat equal to the highest combat rating on the opposing team +1. So in this case, because Mulder and Kasdan are both 2 each, Sandman's long-range and close-range ability is 3. And the Sandman can also use subterfuge combat cards for reference. Okay. So yeah, over to you if you want to try and negate him, or we'll go into combat.
I don't have anything to stop this.
Okay, so we will go into combat. So my long range is 3 because of it being the highest of yours +1, and your long range is 2 + 2, 4. So you do 4 damage to the Sandman. He's got 5 in total, and I do 3, and I'm going to do those 3 to. I'm going to do them to Mulder.
Okay. So he's at 2.
Yep. And then what we would normally do is we would head towards a close combat round. But before we get there, I'm going to play a combat card. I'm going to play Stunning Blow. And that's cost of 2, so I'll pay that now. And the effect of that, play this on any opponent who has just taken damage. So I'm playing it on Mulder because he's just taken damage.
Yep.
The opponent is considered stunned for the next round of combat. This opponent will deal no damage in the next round of combat. So that would mean that Mulder doesn't do any damage to me next round. I'm actually thinking about this. That's a really silly card to play because it won't have any effect. But I've played it now. So don't worry. Yeah, I was just excited to play a combat card, which I did in the last combat, actually, to be fair. But yeah, thinking about it, it's not going to make any difference. But nonetheless, it's fun to play a combat card. So yeah. So I've done that on Mulder. I've paid 2 for it, even though it's no real use. And we go into close range combat. And in this close range combat, the Sandman has 3 because it's equal to your 2 plus 1. And Kazdin on her own has 2. And Kazdin is enough to kill the Sandman, do the last 5th damage. But the Sandman will do 3 before he goes. And obviously I'm going to do that to Mulder to knock him out of the combat and put him in the hospital. Because even though he's been stunned, I can still target him with damage.
Yeah.
So even though that stunning blow was actually a silly thing to play because I didn't work out the maths properly, it was still fun. Mulder was stunned as he got taken out.
So then this investigation fails.
Yes, if we don't have anything further to play.
I don't. No.
Yeah, okay. So we go into debriefing. I've got 5 cards now.
I have 5 as well.
Okay, so we'll go into my next turn, and I will draw a card.
Hey, can we, I'm in the middle of work. Can we take a 5-minute break here? I got to do something real quick.
Yep, no problem. That's fine. You just mute and take
I'll be
the
right
camera
back.
if you like. I'll have a chat with Mike.
Cool. I'll be right back.
No worries. Hey, Mike.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good. It's good fun. I hope the the way I'm like trying to explain things, just to help out a bit.
It's awesome, man. Steve and I were talking a little bit about just the whole face down bluff thing. What you did was awesome, just because, like when we did the tournament a couple years ago, with, I think it had far more people. We had the different like skill levels to start out, and we didn't do that this year. So we were lucky to get the 14 people of you that signed up. But I knew full well that there were going to be some that hadn't been playing as long as some of us, and it's awesome. Every one of you's like really taken care of them and helped out, because we all just want to have a fun game, right? We all just
definitely
want to experience new things, and I think combat cards that you're bringing in too are fabulous. So
even though I just played that stunning blow completely wrong because it made no use.
Well, and I had to look it up too, because I was like, wait a minute, and I got my book here, and I was like, wait, is that going to do anything?
I know. I was so excited to play it that I forgot that the Sandman was only on 1 health when it happened. So
and the other thing, I had to look it up because I didn't, just straight up, I didn't remember when you had voluntarily put Colton in the hospital, and you're like, he can't come out. I was thinking, I almost popped in like, well, wait, you put him in there voluntarily. I thought you could bring them out, and I had to look it up, and it says only agents with a current health rating of 3 or higher after the healing phase are allowed to leave the hospital during deployment. This is true regardless of whether the trip to the hospital was voluntary or forced.
Yep, I forgot. Well, I knew the rule, but I forgot that it would take him 2 turns to recover. I thought I could just bring him out after healing 1, and then as soon as I realised it was far too late, so I was like, yeah, he's going to be in there a while. And then obviously Matt's played sinus cavity implant on Blevins as well, so my res and we've got a captive hybrid in the field now as well. So I'm -3 and Colton in the hospital. So my awesome res generation is somewhat not so awesome right now, but fortunately I've got a few questions ahead, so hopefully that'll see me through.
I'm not sure this one. I posted this one on your first turn when you first started. This got thrown out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And look where we are now.
I know, yeah. I was 9 in the first turn. I think if we work out what I'm going to be in this turn, it's 1 from Skinner, none from Blevins, 2 from Krychek, which is 3, because I can't get any from Blevins and I can't get any from Colton, so that's 3. But Captive Hybrid is going to reduce me by 2, so I'm generating 1 res this turn coming up. And that's not quite as intimidating as what it should be for the res I'm putting into my agents.
Hey, you know, if you're gonna go 3-0, he ain't gonna make it easy on you. I don't think so.
Well, yeah, too right. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, at least this is the last turn that Colton's in the hospital, because after he will heal his last point this time, so he can come out now willingly.
Right.
So. Yeah, but I'll still be -3 from the sinus cavity implant and the captive hybrid, unless I pay 7 to get rid of captive hybrid, which is actually, I might do that, you know.
Man, that's just being at 7 though. That's just such an inconvenient number. Like you're either damned if you do and damned if you don't kind of situation.
Yeah, actually, with captive hybrid, when can I pay that 7? Can I do that in my briefing phase so I still generate res?
I'm pretty sure you can do that at any point.
I've got 7 right now, so I might actually be tempted to pay it now and then get the extra 2 res in my briefing phase.
Let's see. Yeah, it literally just says your opponent may pay 7 resource to force you to discard this card.
Yeah,
it doesn't specify, so you could.
So I might pay 7 now and then generate res.
Yeah,
and then I'll generate 3 instead of 1, because it'll only take a couple of turns for that to pay for itself. Really, the longer I don't pay for it, the worse it is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to play a few adversaries. I love those cards. I mean, you know, I revealed that my deck is very adversary heavy in my last game, but they're my favorite cards, and I was just thinking to myself, how do I get these into my games? So,
right. Yeah, you know, the combat cards that I'm seeing played are like the typical, you know, like the ones that you see, you know, like when Matt and I played, you know, we obviously have the run for it and the, you know, the first aid and stuff like that they're cheap and, you know, they're easy to get. But like, you know, stuff like, oh God, what's that one that's terminal damage and like mind control and like, God, they're so neat.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to really go for it if you want to play them.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, terminal damage. God, that's for 10. 10.
Actually, something I've always wondered, like especially as I was trying to build this adversary deck of mine, the Alien Bounty Hunter adversary, he costs so much, but I don't see how he's any good. Like considering he's such an iconic villain in the series, his stats are terrible.
It's super. Yeah, it's super hard to get it to work, and even when it does, I mean, I guess the whole reason why it was 12 was just because of the whole healing, you know, the poison blood situation. But I just don't think it was worth that much. Like, I mean, you look at a card like Darkness Falls.
Yeah,
Darkness Falls is 6, right? And when you're damaged and you go to the hospital, you can't even heal until a healing card's played on you. That seems way more damning than Alien Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. I mean, even if it wasn't 12, I think really, I don't know, what should the cost be? I know that we've even gone into the discussion of changing card values in future editions or whatnot, but I think that one should definitely get a discount if we ever did that sort of thing, because it's such an iconic villain. I'd love to see it played more, and I don't think anyone is ever going to realistically put it in their deck to have 12 available.
Well, I mean, we're still, you know, I mean, we're in the process of creating new ideas for the game, new cards, new, you know, scenarios. And, you know, one of those could be like, you know, how in the Scully set, the theme of the Scully set was very much like, okay, here's our 5 ideas for like this entire, you know, expansion. So let's put these same 5 ideas, split them up into affiliation, motive, method, you know, like this. And then, okay, now we've got 50. All right, cool. Put those on cards. So they were very, very similar. Other than a couple of offshoots, the effects were very, very similar.
Yeah.
We could still do something like that. I mean, I don't see why there couldn't be a card that would say, play this card to reduce any one alien adversary's cost by 2, or things like that allow the person to actually, and that say that costs 1. Well, now you're saving 1 for 2. So instead of paying 12 for the alien bounty hunter, you're paying 11, or whatever it would come to. It'd have to be fine tuned, obviously, but that might be something to think about too.
Yeah, because Dark Angel has a similar effect, doesn't it? To reduce, is there some? I can't remember Dark Angel's exact wording, but it has something about you pay half if something happens. I can't remember the exact wording. You're probably looking for it now. It definitely becomes cheaper if you can do something about it.
Steven says there's a card in the 460 expansion that helps with ABH. Oh, the Dark Angel may play all combat cards for 1 conspiracy point.
Oh, not that significant then. Fair enough. And is it John Mostow? No. Sorry.
The Handy Verlets.
Making you really look through your binder now. Just going to shout random cards out, so you've got to keep looking for them.
I know, I've got mine. Oh, and it's in German. I'll totally read it.
Of course it is.
Ich sprechen Sie mit... Not, no.
Yeah.
Nicht sprechen Sie Deutsch. I thought I had maybe I don't. I thought I had I know Dax made translated cards. I may not actually have a copy of the translated cards. I don't. That's crazy. That's very unfortunate. So, I'll be darned. How about that? Cards I don't have. All right. Well, yeah, Steven, you got to find. Oh wait, what is it? John Mostow's. Oh yeah, which is like
the one. If you play card, but there's hardly any insanity cards, are there?
Yeah, but isn't it like the only card in the or one of the only cards in the entire like series run that has the insanity keyword? Like it's not on any other card, so it's
really hard to combine with anything. Yeah.
Like, you can do like you can play this adversary free if it's played on a keyword strawberry card. There's no cards in the deck that say strawberry. This doesn't help me,
It's almost as unique as the Kleinman sisters or whatever it is.
Yeah. Hey man, I've gotten the Margie and
have you managed it?
Terry. Yeah, I've gotten that to work, but not with the evil one. I almost got it to work one time on that. But even them just by themselves, or I mean together as one adversary, is freaking dangerous.
Yeah.
I think. Do you remember? God, this might have been a couple years ago when we were doing all of our contests, and I had the contest like who can come up with like the most brutal adversary like combination, like say you've got 1 million conspiracy points.
Yeah.
What is the worst absolute possible thing that you can do to your opponent with an adversary? And man, there were some crazy ones in there. I thought it was going to be like Terry and Margie, but no, man, people came up with some way worse ones.
Nice. Well, of course, you say that was a couple of years ago, but for me,
a
couple of years ago, my cards were in my roof, thinking I'd never play with them ever again because I didn't know anything about you guys a couple of years ago. So I only joined at the start of last year,
cool, yeah.
Not looked back. So I think it was about 300 cards I had in my roof for 20 years, and now I've got a few thousand because I've got back into this community. So I really love that it exists, and I just love playing. It's a game that I never wanted to put in my roof and forget about, but I imagine there's plenty of people out there who still just have cards tucked away and they don't realize that they could rejuvenate them.
Matt still does. He saved all of his cards, so he's got them all, including no less the actual No One's So Paranoid that we got in the contest. Not that it's any different card stock wise, it's not any special, but sentimentally. And when he moved out here, his dad, I guess, just like boxed up his stuff and put it in this big shed outside and it's so crowded in there that like when we went over there a couple years ago, we just took a look at it and we're like, no, like this isn't like maybe one day when your dad moves and somebody's here to like go through the stuff, but like for now we've got 10 boxes back at, the studio. Like I think we're good for a while.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'll need to make a trip over to radio supplies. You can't find anything in England, honestly. They know on eBay how much it costs.
So many cards, man. I literally have so many cards that like Steven volunteered to like fly up here and like help me sort them.
That's another thing. I wouldn't be able to leave them unsorted. My OCD brain would just not allow that.
After all these years, I've got them in Premier, Truth, and 1013, obviously.
That's a start.
And then I've got them, they're separated by card type. Okay, so like good. Sites, but that's the extent. Like the only cards I've actually like truly separated or put into order are the actual X-Files themselves. Those ones I have in their individual. That's it, man. I've got the rares in their own section, but if I need to go find an uncommon card, I'm going to be sitting there for 10 minutes.
Well, if you wanted anyone to volunteer to sort through your ultra rare cards, just send them my way. I'll look after them. Don't you worry. I'll make sure they're nice and sorted because I've got about 2 in my actual collection, so they won't get lost with mine. I promise.
Yeah, I don't have. I actually have them right here. I was looking at these today. There. What I have here. So from Premier, these are pretty much all that I have left. Mulder, Billy Abducted, Krychek, Skinner, Deep Throat, and Counter.
I only have the Krycheks of that lot. So,
and then if you do need any of these, let me know because David May gave me multiple copies of the Truth Is Out There ultra rares. He had a box. Yeah, he had like a box of nothing but the ultra rares. So I've got 5 limited choices.
I'm just gonna start crying in a minute.
3 Spirit of the Amaroos, 2 Margaret Scullys.
Oh man, you're gonna regret this, because as soon as Steven said he was going to send me cards, I haven't stopped bugging him since.
4 Nurse Owens, Mrs. Mulder's, Scullys. And if you need any of these, seriously, send me a message, tell me what you need because David May specifically gave me these cards to share with other people.
Cool.
So I don't want to sit on this stuff. I want to give them to people that are going to get some music.
That's the thing is this community that you guys are building is so good. Like I said, I've only been part of it for a year, but I've enjoyed every minute of speaking to everyone. Like even when we're coming up with the hotly contested debates where some people disagree with others, I think the spirit of it is always in the right manner. And it's a really constructive community to be a part of. And Steven in particular has helped me build my collection so much. And now you've just opened the door to you helping build my collection. You're going to regret that. But
no, I have. There's actually, ironically enough, there's only one card that I legitimately only have one copy of. Ironically enough, and that's, believe it or not, freaking Foo Fighter.
Oh wow! Okay.
It's not even an ultra rare. It's just a rare, but it's a 1013 rare, which sometimes we argue 1013 rares seem to be rarer than the ultra rares. I don't get it. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, good talking to you. I'll pop out. I'll let you guys get back to it.
Nice one. Cheers, Mike.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No, all okay your side?
Yeah, we got a new computer program we're working with, and there's bugs.
Ghost in the machine.
Yep. That's exactly it.
It's relevant. Nice one. Are you happy enough to continue?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great. Okay, so I did draw my free card at the start of my turn, so I won't try to draw another free card, as much as that would be a bit cheeky. I was actually having a discussion with Mike while you were away about the captive hybrid problem that you put me in.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike and I discussed how to get rid of it. it's to pay 7 RP to get rid of it.
Correct.
And we discussed it. And if I were to pay 7 now with the 7 that I've got, then it would be gone. And then I could do my briefing phase and generate res without that effect.
Got it.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to pay 7 now to reduce down to 0. So captive hybrid is gone. And then I'm going to generate res. So that's going to be 1 from Skinner, 0 from Blevins because of the sinus cavity implant, which I can't get rid of yet, and 2 from Krychek. So I'll be at 3. And without captive hybrid in play, it will stay at 3. So I will generate all 3 res into my res pool. Colton still can't contribute because he's still in the hospital, even though I placed him there.
One more round.
One more round to go. And I am going to...
And for clarification, on selling cards, you can only sell CP cards.
You can only sell RP cards for CP.
Yep. Sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. I think
Blue cards for red.
I'm getting them backwards. Yep. Okay.
Yep. You're correct. I mean, I suppose it's effectively just debriefing your CP cards because you wouldn't get anything back for them. But there's no point. So I am not going to buy any cards. So you can go ahead and sell.
I'm going to sell 2 Ish Tribal Elder for 2 and Arecibo.
Oh, yes, sorry. Alistair's just added on to the chat. You can actually sell purple cards as well if you want to, because they're worth both sides.
Both.
So you can sell blue and purple. Thanks, Alistair. You're absolutely right.
That's 3. And I'll just add those on. So I have 9 CP and 3 RP.
Okay. Are you buying any?
No.
Okay. So I will go ahead into my healing phase, where I will heal Colton's last piece of damage. I'm not going to requisition any equipment, and I will now move Colton back into the field. Yeah, they're all going to be in the field, I think. Yes. So they're all in the field, and I will pay for a site. I'm going to pay for Braddock Heights. And this is a bureaucracy 4+ site and a motive question. The cost is 2, but I'm going to use Colton's token, fresh out of the hospital, to reduce the cost to 1. So I'm going to pay 1 for that, putting me on a mighty 2 RP. And so then it is over to you to place any face down bluffs or fake bluffs.
I will do that.
1 bluff?
Yes.
Okay. I will send everybody to the site to investigate.
Okay. So flip this bluff.
Yep. Flip that over.
And I'm not sure if I'm playing this right, but it is a bluff.
Okay.
Big blue.
Right.
Pay this card to add X RP to your pool. X is the number of CP spent by the site investigating players.
Okay. Right. Okay. So we need to keep a tally. So first of all, you have to decide if you're going to pay for that.
I am.
Okay. So reduce your CP by the cost. Obviously, reduce the cost by 1. Okay.
It's 3 to play. So I dropped it down by 2. So I'm at 1 on my.
Right. And now that's in play, I'm not going to negate it in any way. So we need to keep a tally of how many points I spend on this site. And you would then increase your pool I can't remember which pool, by however many I spend.
The
Is that
red.
right?
Yeah. Make sure I'm doing this right here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I haven't seen that one quite too often, so I'm not sure of the terminology. I'll have a look at it, actually.
Play this card to add X CP to your CP pool. X is the number of RP spent at this site by the investigating player.
Cool. So every time I spend my RP, you can add that amount to your CP.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So that hasn't stopped my investigation at the moment. So I am on bureaucracy 8. What would you like to play to stop me?
I don't have anything, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. No worries. So effectively, that would mean that Big Blue doesn't generate you anything.
Correct.
So bearing that in mind, do you want to not pay for Big Blue?
Nope, I played it.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, I played it.
Okay. I mean, you didn't know that. Obviously, I could have still played cards as well.
Okay, so that's the one thing I don't like.
Mm.
So you don't. I mean, if you don't, I don't know how to word.
Yeah,
this.
I didn't play any cards, so that means you didn't generate any points for it.
Would that can be considered like a non-played bluff?
So you wouldn't. If you'd have been able to play cards to stop me, then I think the effect of Big Blue would have been a bit more, because then I would have had to have played cards to aid my investigation, and then you would have generated points for every card I played. But because you only had Big Blue and you didn't have any other cards to stop my investigation, then it probably wasn't that effective on its own. So you could have, if in knowing that, you could have chosen not to pay for Big Blue, even though you played it face down. So you can do that if you want to get your points back for.
Let's just go. We'll go. Keep moving.
Cool. Yeah. Yep. No worries. Cool. So I will go ahead and ask you a motive question. So let's see, where are we with motive? Is that? I will ask you, is your X-Files motive survival?
No.
No. That's like 5 questions now.
Yeah, I've had one.
Yeah, I think I've got you down to 8 now, but I won't guess yet. Okay, so we go into debriefing.
I have 2.
I have 6, so I won't discard any, and we'll pass over to your turn to draw a card.
Draw a card. Okay. So then my res is knocked down. So I've got 3 from Skinner, 1 from Kasdan. So that's 4. Yep. So that puts me at 13. These 2 are in the hospital. So I have to pick up, or I have to buy cards. I have 3, so I'll buy 3. So that puts me to 10.
Yep. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and sell cards, shall I?
Yep.
So first of all, I'm going to take my 2 from Rejuvenating Caves, which is still in effect. So I'll add 2 to my CP. Put me up to 9. And then I am going to sell the Erlenmeyer Flask, which is an event card for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put me on 13. And I'm going to buy... I'll buy 3 cards. No, I'll buy 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's just gone down to 0 again. So that was 13 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. That happened in my last game, but fortunately I saw it happening this time, so I knew that I was on that. Okay, so I've sold and bought cards. So you can go to healing.
Healing. So Kosif was at 2, so she's down to 1 left. Mulder took 5, so he's at 4. Or I'm sorry, he takes 2, right? Because he's
correct.
So he's at 3. I don't have any requisition. Unfortunately, I don't have any sites.
Oh, that's rough.
No deployment. So then that jumps straight to debriefing. Because I have nothing to play.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, even though you haven't played a site, if there are any like event cards in your hand that would be useful, you can still play them if you want to. So like if you've got a friend in the FBI or anything like, or something like that, with a blue value, you can still use your points to play, even though you're not investigating a site. Just worth having a scan of your cards in case that's the case.
Purple can be played on either side of the fence, right?
That's right, yeah.
So, all right, I'll do this then. I'll play Hard Evidence, which adds 5 to my blue, so I'm basically going to generate 3.
Yeah, perfect. You can definitely do that.
10 to 13. And then I'll play Not on the Menu, so I can draw 2, so pay 2. So that's 11.
Yeah. So you could be doing that like before your case assignment phase. So if you've just drawn a site, you can technically still now
play it.
Go to one of those sites. So I don't know whether you've drawn that in your 2 cards, but
I did not.
Oh, that's a shame. Because that would have been really nice if you could have played those cards and then drawn a site and gone to it.
Correct.
So that's why event cards are especially useful, because you can play them early in your turn and they might help you get through your turn.
Technically, I could play that on your turn as well.
It's not on the menu a purple card, is it?
Yes.
So yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I used to play Magic, so I kind of understand.
I've never played Magic actually.
Yeah, so. This is a little different mechanics, but with all that being said, I don't have anything else to play right now.
Okay, so we would go to. I don't have anything to play on your turn either. So we would go into debriefing.
I've got 6.
Great. I've got slightly more this time because I did buy some. I've got 9, so I do need to discard some cards. I'm going to discard the Sandman. We saw him earlier, but I've got another card, so I'll discard him. And I'm also going to discard an event card, Lula Phillips. Okay, and then we'll go into my turn. So I will draw my free card.
Yep.
And I will now generate some res. First of all, I'll remember to put Colton's token back on him in my briefing phase. And now with Colton back, I'll generate 2 from him, 1 from Skinner, 0 from Blevins, because he's still got his implant, and 2 from Krychek. So I'm generating 5 again. And I am going to
that's killer. I got to re-look at my res generations.
Sure. Yeah, when they're in the hospital, it really hurts that they don't generate res. Yeah. So I've got 5. I'm going to put cry checks into the CP pool.
Okay.
So I'll generate 3 res and 2 CP. And then I will buy... I won't buy any cards this turn. So over to you to sell.
I hate to do this because I'm going to sell Skinner Intervenes for 3.
Oh, yeah.
I have to. I'm just going to put them directly into my pool.
Sure.
So I had 1, so that'll bring me to 4.
Yeah.
And I'm not drawing. I'm not buying any cards.
Yeah, it's tough when you haven't got many points to spend, isn't it?
Yeah. That's try checks. That's a nice card too. If you can choose where they go, that's huge.
Yeah. And Blevins has it as well. I mean, obviously his implant that you put in him means he's 0, but normally he could do that too. All right, lovely. So we'll go into healing, which I've got none. Requisition, no equipment to play. So they're all in the field and they're going to stay there. And I'm going to do case assignment, and we're going to go back to the Eurisco building, which I went to earlier, which is computer or bureaucracy, 5+. You may ask 1 method question or result question. If you ask if the result is abduction, the skill check is 4+. I'm going to use Colton's token to pay for that because it's bureaucracy, so that will be free. Thank you, Colton. And because this one has a choice of if I ask if the result is abduction, I'm going to check if that's a useful question or not. So let's have a look. I'm not going to activate that effect. So I'm going to I'm going to be free to ask a result or method question.
Okay.
And it would go over to you to see if you want to place any bluffs.
I will play 1.
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to send all 4 of my agents to investigate. So go ahead and reveal your bluff.
Car troubles.
Ah, nice. You were just waiting for me to send all of them there, weren't you?
Play on a team of 3 or more, so you can choose 2.
Okay, great. Go ahead. I assume you're going to head and pay for it.
Yeah, so it's 3. It was upside down, so it's 2. So I'm at 2.
Okay, fair enough. So I need to choose 2 guys to stay and man the car. So I need a bureaucracy of 5. So I think with that in mind, as much as we do love Krychek in the field, it's him and Colton who aren't contributing to this investigation as much. So I'm going to send Skinner and Blevins to carry on in the investigation with their bureaucracy of 7. And Krychek and Colton are going to stay and fix the car together.
And then, so I can still play another card.
You can, yep. You can use whatever.
I'm going to play computer access denied. Force an opponent team to make a computer 4+ skill check on it, or they'll be unable to complete the site skill check.
Cool. What's the cost of that?
2.
Oh, nice. I thought that was much higher cost card.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
amazing.
Right,
yeah, great. I mean, let me see if I can do anything about that.
That wipes me out though. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I cannot make a computer skill check of anything. 0 is my total. So yeah, that is going to successfully stop my investigation.
I got one. I did one.
Yeah, I think you got my first one as well, actually. But yeah,
All right.
yeah. So I'm going to discard that site, the car troubles and the computer troubles, and yeah,
Boom.
you have stopped me. So we go
Wow.
into
All right.
debriefing.
I have 3.
I have 7. I will keep my 7, and we'll go into your turn.
Okay.
Well done.
Draw 1.
When you said computer access denied, I was sure that cost more than 2. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to tell him it costs more than 2 in a minute. Yeah. He's only got 2 in his pool. But brilliant. That's such a good card, especially on a team that doesn't have any computer like mine. So
I saw when you said you had Skinner, I was like, he doesn't have computer.
Nope. None of the others do either.
All right, so I drew a card. So now res 3 for Skinner, 1 for Kasdan, so that puts me to 15. 2. So buying cards. So can you play? I can play an event card right now.
Yeah, you can with your RP points.
I must not have shuffled my deck very well, but I'm gonna play Mulligan.
Oh, okay, nice.
So
read that one out. I'm not. I think I know what it does, but
discard your entire hand, draw 7 cards from the top of your bureau deck.
Awesome.
So that's 15. It's 3, so that puts me to 12. So I draw 7 new.
How many did you have to get rid of?
I had 4 total.
Yeah, so that's a good return.
And I had duplicates and stuff that. Okay. So I can buy cards now.
Yeah, did you add your 3 res from earlier?
Yep, so I'm down to 12.
Cool. So now you can buy cards, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you drawn another mulligan? You don't have to tell me that.
I had 2 in there. So I had 1 here. That was the second one. I was like, I got to use it. I was like, if I don't, I'm going to whatever. Anyways.
Absolutely. Especially if you're discarding like 1 or 2 or 4 in your case cards and you're getting 7 back. That's great.
I'm not going to buy any cards, so it's your chance.
Okay. Okay, selling. I'm going to sell a message from the stars for 5 and a ceremony for 5.
Dang.
So 10.
I got to put some
21
higher cards, higher casting in here to get the res.
And I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy 6 cards. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then over to you to heal, etc.
Okay, so Kosef was at 1, so she is now healed.
Yep.
And does she stay there? I have to.
She can move in the deployment phase, but technically you'll want to be healing Mulder first. So.
Yep. So he's at 1.
Which means he can also come out as well.
Oh, okay.
Because they only need. They can have 1 damage on them and come out. That's the benefit of having health 5 or 4.
So that's healing. Then requisition. I don't have any equipment. So deployment. Can he go from the hospital to the field?
Yep. So can Kossev as well.
I'm gonna bring Kosef back to the bureau, and Mulder's going to the field.
Yep, to join Kasdan.
Yep.
Oh, do you mind if I you do my 2 from Rejuvenating Caves?
Oh yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Got 12. I'll play Farmington, New Mexico. Alien Investigation 5+, computer or computer 5+. You may ask a motive question or a method question. If you ask a method, manipulation skill pre-check is 4+, which I will do that.
Okay.
And I'll use Mulder's last token to play that.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, Stephen, I was surprised that Computer Access Denies was only 2 CP.
Right? That's a super powerful card.
Yeah. When you said you only had 2 CP left, I was sure that I was going to sneak through that investigation. And then you threw that at me. It's great. Right. So bluffs.
Everybody's going to add it to their deck now.
Well, I think it's quite a popular one anyway. But then chances are, if you've got it in your deck, you come up against a team with loads of computer. Whereas for yourself, it worked like a treat.
Yeah.
0. So I'm not going to play any bluffs on you there. So you can go ahead and send your agents if you wish to.
I will.
Kasdan and Mulder.
Yep. So that's alien investigation of 5 total, and I need 4 because I'm going to be asking.
Because you're going to do the reduced question. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah, you did say that. It's all good. And it's motive and method, isn't it?
Motive and method. Yep. Site, multi, motive, method, alien investigation, computer. My problem is I don't know the cards well enough to know how to whatever counter things.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the kind of deck I'm playing is I know which cards I've got, but you're right. Every time someone plays a card I'm not familiar, it's like, what does that do? Yeah. I'm going to play an adversary card. I'm going to play Crew Cut Man, who is a activator method, which I think this is okay for. The keywords on it are government, pawn, and creature. And this one says the chosen agent is the only one who may participate in the combat. The Crew Cut Man may use subterfuge cards and martial arts cards. I've said that the wrong way around. It's martial arts, then subterfuge. So I'm going to pay 6 to put that in play. So have you got anything that can negate Crew Cut Man, or we're going into combat?
I do not. Okay,
so this one is like the effect. The chosen agent is the only one who may participate in the combat. So I'm sitting on a long range combat of 4 and a health of 5. So I'm going to go into combat with Mulder.
Okay.
On his own. So unless you have any combat cards to play on that.
I don't.
I'm going to do 4 damage to Mulder, which I think will knock him out.
That knocks him out.
And you'll do 2 damage to the Crew Cut Man, which isn't quite enough to kill him technically, but because Crew Cut Man goes in combat against one agent, the Crew Cut Man is gone after that. He can't then transfer to attack Kasdin afterwards.
Gotcha.
So Kasdin is safe. It's a bit like the revenge for the snake, although it was Kosev that took the snake, wasn't it?
Snake was Kosev.
Yeah, so Mulder is in the hospital with 5 damage after
He's
that.
back. This fails.
Yeah, just 1 second, because I know that I've seen it in one of the other games in this tournament. I think it was Kurt played it on his daughter when he knew that the investigation had failed, but he still played a card to attack her agents. But no, I'm not going to do that. So we go into debriefing.
Can I still play an event right now?
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, you can. Actually, I'm going to, just before we go into debriefing, I think I will play another card in a minute, but you can absolutely play an event card at any time while we're in investigation.
Friend in the FBI.
Cool.
So 2, so that takes me down to 10, and then 10 goes on here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. 10 tokens on it.
And that's during your briefing phase?
Yep. So a little tip with that one, if you play that one during your briefing phase, then you can actually play it for free and start it with 8 tokens instead of 10. But this is absolutely fine the way you're playing it. It just, you'll have an extra turn of generating. So technically we're still in the investigation phase. And I'm going to play another card on poor agent Kasdin, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I'm going to play John Mostow, who was actually mentioned in a little break that we had when you were taking your call. It's an adversary card. It's primordial. It's a motive site activator, which this is. Primordial creature pawn. And it does say this card is free if played on a keyword insanity card and activator requirements are ignored. But there isn't, I don't think there's any insanity keywords going on at the moment. So I will pay 4 to put it into effect.
Okay.
So unless you have anything to negate combat for poor Kasdin, we will have a fight.
Nope.
So she will actually do the first blow because long range combat, I'm 0.
So this is 2.
Yeah. So I'll take 2 damage. My health is 4 on John Mostow, so he's not dead. And then we would go into close range combat.
Which is 2 on her.
Yeah, and John Mostow is 4. So I think that will knock out Kasdin. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a bit mean considering you'd already failed. You probably failed the investigation. But
No.
I quite like Kasdin being in the hospital as well. So,
no, absolutely. Less res, the better, right? The less res that your opponent can produce, the better. Yeah,
that's it. And also, I had 11 cards in my hand, so I would have had to discard cards. So by playing that one more card, it means I actually make use of it rather than discarding it. So now we can go into debriefing because I don't have anyone else to attack.
I've got 5.
Nice. I've got 9. So I just need to do a little bit of discarding. I'm going to discard a mechanic card. That's 1. I've got 1 more to discard.
So you played Rejuvenating Caves.
Yes, I played that in my previous turn. Yeah.
Does that? I mean, it's the opposite of Friend of the FBI.
Correct. Yeah.
So can you play that on whatever, say it was my turn, you could play that and it would just go to 8?
Not quite, no. There's slightly different wording on the 2 cards. So Friend in the FBI says that you can get those points back in the briefing phase. And if you play it in your briefing phase, then you can get the points immediately. But Rejuvenating Caves is worded a little bit differently, where it says you place 10 tokens on it, and then beginning on your opponent's next turn.
Oh, so you actually have to wait to get it.
Yeah, until you can get the tokens from it. So although they are basically the mirror card of each other, the wording is slightly different for the timing of it. So yeah.
So it is your turn.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out one more card to discard. Sorry.
Everybody at home is probably like, this is the most boring game ever. It's so long.
I just love this game. I'm going to discard another mechanic. I had 2 of the same adversary, and I'm going to discard them both. I love this game so much that I love talking about it. I mean, obviously, if I don't want to come across as, like hopefully explaining things is helping.
No. I'm the newbie. I don't know enough. So that's the thing. I'm here to learn and ask questions, and because I want to know how to play. This is a super cool game. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, this game is still everything to play for. So I'm down to 7 cards. So I will go ahead and start my next turn, if that's all right.
Yep.
Great. I'll draw a free card. And I will generate some res. So 2 from Colton, 1 from Skinner, and 2 from Krychek is 5. And I'm going to put all 5 of those into my RP. Take me up to 10. And I'm going to buy... I'm actually going to buy... I'm going to put my token back on Colton, first of all. I'm going to buy... Oh, this is painful. I'm going to buy 6 cards.
Oof, okay.
Yeah, 6 cards. It might be obvious to anyone why I'm having to buy so many. But I won't say it out loud just because it's probably giving a bit away. But yeah. Oh, okay, great. That is me card bought. So yeah, over to you to sell and buy.
I'm going to sell 1 Jerusalem, Ohio for 2. And they're going right into my pool. And there was a reason I asked you about Rejuvenating Caves.
Of course.
I have one.
Lovely.
So I'm going to pay the 2 to get that in.
Yeah, and that will start with 10.
Yep. And that's on your next turn.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So did you sold a card there, didn't you?
I sold 1 card, yep, for 2.
Yeah. Did you want to buy cards as well?
No. I don't have any CP. Is that the right? Am I using the right terminology? Yes.
Oh, of course, because you sold a card and then you spent it on Rejuvenating Caves.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm with you. Nice one. Cool. So I'll go into healing. There is none. Requisitioning, none. So I'll go into deployment. They're all in the field, and I will keep them in the field. I mean, especially knowing you've got 0 CP.
Yep.
So I'll do case assignment. I'm going to play Outskirts of Atlantic City, which is a subterfuge or observation site for 5+. May ask an affiliation or a motive question. That costs 1, and I'm going to pay for that with 1 RP. And I'm also going to play Folkestone, which is bureaucracy 5-up or behavioral. You may ask one affiliation or motive question. And because that's a bureaucracy, I'm going to use Colton's token to pay for that for free. And you may now assign bluffs if you wish.
I can't stop you.
Sure. This is technically the time when you play bluffs rather than actually stopping the investigation.
Right.
But with the 0 CP, it's fairly tough for you to stop me anyway.
Unless I wanted to throw a card away, right?
Indeed, yeah. Chances
that would be the
are.
only thing would be throw.
Yeah, I mean, there are some bluffs that are like cost 1, and then you could play it for 0 by having it face down. So there are still chances that you could play cards for 0. And also, if you like put 4 cards under a site, it might make me think, oh crap, what's he got under there? I mean, with 0 CP, chances are it's not a lot. But there are like power plays that you can do to.
Yeah, I guess if you had a bunch of ones.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah,
4 ones, just throw them all under.
Yeah, but yes. So I will move with no bluffs. I will go into my investigation phase. And I mean, for the sake of going through the motions, I'll go to Folkestone first, where with Skinner and Colton, I'll send Blevins and Krychek. That's my usual setup. So to Folkestone with these two, I'm at bureaucracy 5. I mean, I need 5. We know that you can't play anything there. So I will go ahead and ask you a affiliation or motive question. So let's see. I haven't got a question right yet, have I?
I don't believe so.
I will go. Is your affiliation alien?
No.
That's 6. Okay. All right, great. That puts me down to 5 options now. I won't guess yet. And we will go into the investigation of the other site. So this one is Subterfuge 5-up, and I'm sitting on Subterfuge 5. And obviously, as we know, unless anything's changed, you're not going to stop me.
Correct.
So I will ask you again a choice between affiliation or motive. So I'm going to have a little look at the options. I need to see if there's any that get you down. If I get a lucky one right at this stage.
Right.
I don't think there will be. There's a few 3s and 2s out there. I don't think there's any 4 and 1s out of the 5 I've got left. But I'm just seeing if I can. Oh no, that's not. No. Cool. I will go with. Is your motive knowledge?
Yes.
Oh, finally. Great. Great, yeah. So I've got you down to 2. Shall I have a guess? I'm going to have a guess.
Okay.
50-50. And obviously, you're familiar with if I get this guess wrong, then you get to ask me a question.
Yes.
But it would be a motive question because that's what I've just asked you. So I'm going to guess, is your X-File Colonel Wharton Zombie Master?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Fantastic. There we go. Good stuff. Yeah, good game, mate. Like you just ran out of CP points there, really, didn't you?
Yeah. If I would have had the friend in Rejuvenating Caves earlier, that might have helped me out.
Yeah.
And I think I just need to rework my deck so that I have. I don't know. Well, the other thing too, I feel like I didn't shuffle it good enough because I was
Well, I think
like
the thing is, you can shuffle things back into a bad order.
Well,
you never really know when you shuffle.
So I sent Steven my list of my deck, and I had them all like combat event.
Oh, I see.
So I don't think I shuffled them good because I was getting
Sure.
a bunch. Like for a minute, I got 5 sites in a row or whatever. I'm like,
wow,
this doesn't work.
Yeah, when you've got like 60 to 100 cards, you cannot spend enough time shuffling. Like if you've got them all in a sorted order, literally spend 5-10 minutes shuffling. And what I do is I literally put 10 piles of cards out on the table and just randomly put cards on piles and then randomly pile them back, and do that a few times just so they're really well shuffled, because you'd be surprised how just a normal shuffle doesn't shuffle cards. But yeah, sometimes you get a bit rough with draws anyway, even if you've shuffled for hours. So, but yeah, good game, well played. It was a good one
for a first time playing like a real game. That was good, and I apologize for the interruption in the middle, but
no, that happens. We all have stuff that goes on from time to time, and no, it's awesome. So let's see here. Got a comment. 3-0, man. Congratulations.
3-0. Yeah. I have. Technically, I'm using Krychek as an ultra rare, Alistair. So if an agent ultra rare counts, then I do have an ultra rare. There might be one other that I haven't actually had drawn yet that I do have in my deck somewhere. But obviously, it doesn't actually matter now because I can change my deck after this game. So I did have an X card hiding in there, which is an ultra rare as well. But in all 3 of my games, I didn't pull X. So yeah, I'm delighted with 3 wins with very little ultra rare access, actually. But I've had 3 great opponents. They've been 3 really good games. So
no, it's awesome. Let's see. Awesome, guys. All righty. Well, we got another game happening a little bit later today. Looking forward to that one. That one could tip the scales too, as far as another 3-0 player, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Nathan.
I don't have my encyclopedia Stephen here to verify things with me, which is so much easier. That dude, I swear, Stephen, you have freaking everything, man. It's just it's so crazy. So stay tuned for that. I think that one's coming up at 7 o'clock Pacific tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, all of my devices are currently plugged into cameras, so I can't check anything either.
Same here. But no, that one's coming up. And then only a few more games, and we're starting to get geared up for the playoffs now. So, got some bugs, fixed. And it's ironic, just as you were, or right before you were asking or about to ask your question, this guy showed up, Stephen.
Oh, wonderful! He'll be delighted. That's
made it back. It's nice and safe. There's no corners missing. It's just gonna go right back to its home there.
Superb. Stephen won't be able to sleep at night now. He's had to give that back.
Here we go. Yep. Yeah. So 7 Pacific, 9 p.m. Central. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys then. So again, great game. Congratulations, staff going 3-0. And Dax, look at this. Need to get the attorney entry prizes sorted. My God, we got one of them that we figured out. It looks great. The other one we're just still scratching our heads, but yeah, we're on it. And then we're probably going to have David Peace is probably going to come down to Oregon once we get the printer sorted out, because I may be redundant here, but the machine that printed these uncut sheets was a very specific type of printer, and I actually found the same printer in Portland, of all places. So they're actually going to print these custom uncut sheets on this original printer, the same one that was used same kind of paper stock. So we're just going to get in there and try do like a little film and whatnot. It's going to be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming up. Wow, yeah, this thing's steaming along, isn't it?
Yeah. Matt, did you want to take a guess at my X-File before we sign off?
Let's see. I don't really have a whole lot. I mean, were you the Gregors?
I was not. I was the Swarm.
One of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I tend to pick randomly, but I agree. The Swarm is a great episode. Yeah.
Being in Colorado, I'm a lumberjack on the side at the house, and I'm always nervous about the Swarm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Last year, I cut a tree down and I hit a bee's nest, and one flew right up into my sleeve and stung me in my armpit.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's great.
Oh dear.
Dude, I don't like that. We had this one place we used to go camping. You know, like every time you go camping in the middle of the woods, like you've always got like, you know, the relief corner. Like that's the area where you go to the bathroom, right? I'm over there. I'm bared down, you know, just things are fine. I kick the dirt a little bit and I start hearing zzz.
Oh no.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the hell was that? Next thing I know, it was like from a movie. I was running with my pants down my, you know, like at my ankle, like running out of the woods. I disturbed a wasp nest.
Oh.
I didn't even know they nested in the ground, man. And I'm like running towards camp down this road with just exposing all for God and country. And my mother and my wife are just like, what the hell? And by the time I got there, my whole back was covered in welts. They were each holding an ice pack, and they could not move them fast enough all over my back. The pain it was unbelievable, man.
I thought you were going to say that you ran the wasps towards your family and shared
no,
the love.
they stopped. Like once I got out of like the area where they were at, they didn't actually follow me anymore. But they had probably stung me a couple dozen times. On the back and the butt, and oh man, yeah, it's that stuff ain't fun. Thank God I'm not allergic. Got a bit of death sentence, but yeah, the Swarm, man. Whenever that kind of crap happens, I'm like, I guess it could be worse. We could be in a nest in a tree somewhere.
Exactly.
All right,
cheers
guys.
for hosting us, Mike.
What's that? Oh, what's that?
Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're very welcome. You know, again, congratulations. It was a great game. Definitely saw some stuff we hadn't seen before. And again, got the game coming up tonight. Tune in for that. And other than that, I'm going to do some finger guns here, and I'm going to say thanks, guys, and tune in next time to Matt and Mike and Steven's X-Files CCG.
See you later, folks.